to my channel. So today I'm recapping the last 5 episodes of Love is Blind UK. Yes, they gave us 5. I was expecting 4, but they gave us 5. So I'm so sorry, Mexico. You're going to have to wait 8 a little bit. Oh man, I forgot to do my nails. I'm so sorry. Please don't notice them. After I did the UK, I'm like, well, let's see what they gave us for Mexico. I was like, I wonder if they gave us 5 episodes. So I went on Love is Blind Mexico, only 2 episodes. They gave us only those. And I was like, you know what? Then I'm just gonna keep going. So I just watched the whole UK, and then I watched the 2 episodes that they gave us for Mexico. Delicious they were. It was like watching a freaking novella. Okay, so let's start the recap. I really want to get through this so I can talk about Mexico. I feel like the UK version, it's so repetitive. I'm getting a lot of flashbacks from storylines of certain characters in the US versions. Like the whole Ollie, Cat, and Demi. I got a whole vibe of Jared, Ayana, and Mallory when they first saw each other in Greece, because Ayana was the second choice of Jared, and then when Mallory walked in, hot, gorgeous Mallory, how did that make Ayana feel? You know, second guessing her relationship with Jared, and you know, they had a whole conversation about her being the second choice. And I feel like the same, it's happening with Ollie and Demi. When Kat walked in, she's like, dang, you know, she's like, oh, the hot one. Even with the finances topic, it's getting repetitive. The whole Freddy and Cat thing, it's giving me a whole Izzy and Stacy vibe, and we'll get to a whole talk about finances. So while we're in Greece, what's his name? Like, I need to have pictures because otherwise I forget who I'm talking about. Like I said, I just did a whole binge of 2 different countries of Love is Blind, so I hope my thoughts are in order. But so everyone can tell that Ollie and Demi are not really vibing. They're not really on the same page because they see like the, you know, their body language. And then here comes Jasmine trying to stand up for her girl Demi and had this little chat with Ollie. You know, ladies, I know we always want to stand by our girlfriends, but sometimes it's none of our business. Sometimes couple go through stuff and we just have to let them be. Let's not stick our noses in other people's business, because this time it really backfired. Jasmine was all up in Ollie's face saying, so where is your heart at? Do you feel for her? Are you attracted to her? Reeling him. I felt so bad for Ollie. And maybe she had the, you know, good intentions, but if I was Demi, I would have been so mad. Like, Demi walked in and asked Ollie, he's like, do you want to go for a walk? And he's like, no, I don't. I don't blame the guy. He's like, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. When he was talking just him and Demi, and he was saying, I felt so much pressure. I'm, you know, being overwhelmed. I thought of Leticia in Love is Blind Mexico, and she has ADHD. Is that correct? Yeah. And at that moment, I was like, I bet that Ollie has the same thing, because he was saying when you put too much pressure on something, it's going to crumble. And isn't that true? Because he was feeling, you know, so overwhelmed by everything. I think it was like cameras and people up in his face, that when him and Demi went to the real world and it was just them, what a switch. And then when he came out, I think it was the following episode, that he does have ADHD, and he explained it so well. It was such a relatable moment. A task, he was telling Demi, it would take you maybe an hour. For me, it would take a day to do it. I was never able to finish a book, and I was like, oh man, isn't it strange that we never met Ollie's family or friends? Demi never met them, or we never saw it on camera. So I was like, this, like, you know, smells fishy. So I have the feeling that he's going to say no. And you want to have fun with your partner. You want to be best friends with your partner. But I get the feeling that they're more like buddies than lovers. Next couple, we have Nicole and Benny. Did anyone notice, and I think it was in Greece when they were waking up, how many bracelets and necklaces, what's her name, Nicole, wakes up with? I can't sleep with earrings on, and she had necklaces and bracelets. I was like, did you wake up and then put yourself together and then got back to bed? There's a lot of women that do that. They wake up before their partner and they go in the bathroom and then they get all dolled up and come back to bed, and the guy's like, oh, you woke up just like that? Guys, no, that doesn't happen. We saw on the last batch of episodes that, you know, she broke up with Sam. She said it didn't work out, so she wanted to meet with Benny. And then they meet at this cafe, and it's like Netflix couldn't even make a mystery out of it. Like, will he take her back? Won't he? Oh my gosh, like put on some dramatic music. But when Benny's walking to the cafe with a big smile on his face, we're like, yeah, this guy, it's going to take her back. But even when it was Zach and Bliss, and we didn't know, it was like, oh my gosh, and there was dramatic music, and Zach was waiting for her, and she walked in the door like all serious. I was like, oh my gosh, is she gonna take him back? Like there was a mystery of it. So later at a get together, of course Sam shows up, and then Nicole wants to have a talk with him, just have closure, and she wants to return the ring and the bracelet he gave to her. Talk about decorum. You return the ring. Don't pull a Jacquelina, Marshall, and Josh where Jackie kept the ring and where all viewers knew, girl, like return that ring. What are you doing? She's gonna sell that ring. And even though Marshall didn't buy the ring, Netflix bought the ring, but no, have decorum and return that ring. Will Benaya and Nicole make it? I'm still not sure because I don't feel chemistry between those two at all. I like them as people separately. I don't like them as a couple. Sam is there, and he said to Benny that Nicole, the first day that they met, she wanted to sleep with him, and he said no, he didn't want to. But when she's with Benny, you know, they're having a little date, and she's saying that it takes her a while to have a physical connection or to be physically open. That bit you in the ass, because, you know, a couple episodes later we found out that you wanted to sleep with Sam right then and there. Like I said, I don't feel like there's any like passion between them. Next couple, Freddy and Cat. Oh, you know who Cat reminds me of, speaking of past seasons? Shayna. Remember the squinty girl? Was the whole triangle was Shane, Shayna, and Natalie. And Shayna was the girl that like she had the fillers and then she squint all the time. How much does a funeral director makes? Because Freddy's house is nice. For just him, it's like this huge house. It's beautiful. It's well decorated. I think Kat is trying to find any little excuse to be annoyed by him. When they were in Greece, she asked him if he has ever cheated. And poor Freddy, you could have just lied, a little white lie by omission. The honest man that Freddy is, he said that, yes, he has cheated on the past. She says, once a cheater, always a cheater. I don't know if I agree with that. So I think she's trying to find any little excuse to not want to be with him. First was the cheating comment. Then they go shopping. And then there was the prenup conversation, which we will get to it. But while they're shopping, he's making jokes here and there. She's not liking his jokes. She's not laughing. And then he rubs her shoulder and she's like, don't stroke me like I'm a dog. I'm not a dog. Stop stroking me. I would say that she's starting to get the ick for him. Once you have an ick for someone, nothing can resolve that. That person could be the most beautiful person. It could be Chris Evans, Brad Pitt. It could be Angelina Jolie. It could be the nicest person you ever met. It could be Ryan Reynolds. But if you have the ick for them, no, it's not gonna work. And then they go and meet Freddy's family, and they're all so nice. And then he's talking to his sister. He has like a one-on-one with his sister. And then he keeps saying that I don't know if I'm good enough for her. Maybe I'm not good enough for her. Maybe I need to tone down a bit. And then his sister said, I loved this. Maybe she's not good enough for you. And I was like, yes, sister. Haven't we all had a moment in our lives where we doubted who we are because of someone else? Because someone else is not wanting us? We're like, oh, I'm not good enough. I need to change who I am. No, you don't need to change who you are. You are good enough. I love that she like, let's change this narrative, Freddy. Freddy also meets two of her girlfriends who reminded me of Micah and her two friends. Remember how toxic they were? Remember Shelby? We all remember Shelby. So Freddy wants a prenup because he wants his assets to go to his sisters. God forbid something happens to him. He said, I want my assets to go to my sister. And the girls say that he seems a bit controlling. And I was like, controlling? How is he controlling just by wanting to protect his assets? Especially because you just met this person on a reality dating show. I hope everyone that gets married in Love is Blind keeps their properties separate. Is this chair squeaking? Do you hear it? It's sounding like Karen's bed when her and Fernando were getting it on. If you watch that episode, you know what I mean. Some naughty stuff that happened in Mexico. So Kat's girlfriend said that Freddy is already planning on separating. I was like, no, he's being smart. By the way, have we forgotten what Freddy does for a living? He deals with people that have, gone through with losses, and I'm sure he sees all like confrontation and discussions between people after someone died. The greatest gift you can give to someone after he passed away is a will, a very detailed will, because it's so hard. Like the person's already grieving and they have to deal with all the stuff like kids, properties, houses, clothes. Are you gonna get cremated, casket, songs? If you lay it out, everything in your will, it's the greatest gift you give to your loved ones. I feel like all the couples in the UK are just trying to find excuses to say no, besides Steven and Sabrina. Let's get to Tom and Maria. Tom said that I'm a huge PR executive, and then he said that he was honest, that he judged Maria when she said she was just a makeup artist. He said, I just want to live a good life. And when he said that, I was like, you mean money. You want money to live a good life, and you want a partner that works hard and makes money to live the same good life as you. He knew that she was a makeup artist in the pods. So why is this a problem now? So they meet his sisters, two sisters, yeah. And they talked about where they will be moving into. And it's supposed to be his house. But Maria has a problem with the mortgage. She said she doesn't want to move in with him and help with the mortgage. I was like, so you want to like just squat at his place or live there for free? She said that, if something happens to us and we get a divorce, I don't want to have paid 5 years of his mortgage for him. And what do I get out of it? And I was like, what do you get out of it? Girl, you got a roof over your head and probably a nice house. So if it's not his house, you still going to have to get a place together, right? You're going to go 50-50. You're going to pay rent wherever you go with Tom. My feeling is that Maria doesn't want to go 50-50 because she keeps saying in her culture, the man takes care of the woman. The man provides. They had like a whole argument because they went for dinner one night and he paid for it. He said, I got it. And then the next morning they went for breakfast. So she offered to pay and he let her pay. And she had an issue with that. She said, my mother would have been appalled that he let me pay. And I was like, why did you offer then, Maria? She kept saying like, in my culture, we don't do PDA. In my culture, the man pays for everything. At one point, I was like, you know what, Maria? Why don't you just find someone in your culture? I love mixed couples. I love mixed kids. I've always said this since I was a young chickie. I said mixed is beautiful. But if she keeps bringing this up that my culture does this, my culture does that, what is Tom supposed to think? He's like, well, then go find someone else in your culture. Like Tom can provide, he has the money, he just doesn't want to. I have a feeling no one's going to say yes at the altar in the UK. Nicole, maybe, because she's giving me a bit of a desperation vibe with Benny. She had a failed marriage, she really wants this to work out. Bobby and Jazz, I think it will be a yes for them, even though her mom is a way witch. And I was so disappointed that Jasmine didn't stand up for Bobby when her mom was just basically like spewing hate towards him. Tom, I have a feeling Tom will be the one that will say no, especially because he mentioned that his mom won't be coming to the wedding. Once again, people just finding little excuses here and there to say no at the altar. Another slang I had in my notes that I learned when you talk about someone's look, when Freddy comes out and he's all like dressed up and he's like, do I look smart? I used to work at a hotel that had dress codes. The code was smart. And me and my friend were like, smart? How are we gonna dress smart? And I was like, I don't know, let's just grab a newspaper, put a newspaper here, grab some glasses, and walk around like we're smart. And then we're talking to one of the managers and we're like, oh, is this smart? And he's like, no. And I was like, but it says smart. And he's like, no, it's smart is, and he was French, and he's like, it's, you know, and he was looking around and he grabbed a pair of shoes, a stiletto, like fancy shoes that we had. And he's like, this, smart. Oh, so it's smart means fancy. Another fun fact, did you guys know that the pods in the UK, it's not in the UK, it's in Sweden. So they took the whole cast to Sweden to do the pods there. So Netflix is basically recycling pods. If it was me, if I didn't get a connection, if it didn't work out with anyone, you know, I got a free trip to Sweden. Who do you think will say yes at the altar in the UK version? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the little bell notification button so you don't miss any future videos. And I'll see you next time.